We've got flags and banners, and if you mind your manners, we might even get to standards and what they represent. So just take my voice's hand and we'll both try to understand how this VexHead logic podcast could be flagged for content. Flagged for content.
What's up, VexHeads, and welcome to episode 69, the nicest episode of Flagged for Content. It's the only flag podcast that's probably going to be put on a government list here soon. It is also a Flags for Good podcast, and you can go to flagsforgood.com/flagged-for-content for like the number. Pick yourself up some cool flags. We've got the show flag. There's a lot of better flags. They've got apparel now, like t-shirts, the hat, obviously, patches, any of that. And whatever you do end up picking up, before you go to checkout, or as you are, put in code flagged for content, again, for like the number, and you'll get yourself a cool 10% off and help the show out as well, which we always appreciate. Didn't have a ton of stuff to get into before this one. We do, as always, shout out our new patrons on the Patreon. And this week, the one I get to shout out is new patron Jason Saber. So that is a huge honor. Not only did he, let me sit down and talk with him for an extended period last episode, but he is now on the Patreon as well. So, like I've said in the past, go over, join the Patreon. It's extended episodes. It's little fun bonus episodes, things like that. And Jason's in the community now as well. And when you do, go sign up through Patreon, not through like Apple or Spotify or whatever. Anyway, all that aside, I don't think there's a ton more to mention other than, speaking of Flagged for Good, as I did at the beginning of the show, I will be in Indianapolis at their flagship store opening, pun intended, on May 1st and May 2nd. So if you're in Indianapolis or in the area, come say hi. And just come see the new store in general. That's about it for housekeeping here. I'd wanted to say that I had an awesome time, as always, with Frédéric. It's the third time he's been on now. We did have like a few kind of lag issues, which you can tell, like we tried to combat most of that by just, waiting our turn, as it were. But, stuff happens tech-wise. It was a fantastic conversation with him. We talked all about a lot of his redesigns and his advent calendar thing that he did around the holidays of last year. You'll see what all we get into. But anyway, as always, a very fun one with Frédéric. So take it away past Andy. Let's go on into episode 69. Folks, we have got a returning favorite back this week. You know him as the perpetual second best Norwegian in Fresh Flags, our Instagram game. You know him as the designer of the Forest Fens flag. And you know him as the host of Flag Elections and Flag Euros. It's Frédéric Lindboe!
Yay!
What's up?
Clap, clap, clap.
There'll be music here, so it's more exciting, but...
I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, man. What's been going on since last time you were here?
I've made a mini myself, which means
it definitely is a
child
mini...
who looks more like my wife than me. That's so everybody tells, but he's got my eyes, my eye color.
Yeah,
so that's okay.
The eyes. It's too bad for the viewers that they missed him flying in from the side right before we started.
Yeah. Oh, well, superpowers cannot be broadcast. So
it's true.
It's like The Incredibles. Keep it quiet as long as you can.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sure that's taken up a lot of your time, but you've still had a ton of time to do flag stuff. Your Instagram has been super
weird.
Busy as of late.
Yeah, all my free time has gone to that. Mostly. I've been more efficient, like in between, like during nap time and during.
Yeah.
Oh no, my wife is out strolling, and I'm here. Just right. Before I go to bed, just gonna write this review.
We are gonna get into that for obvious reasons. We got to go ahead and get into the show because nap schedules, etc., etc. So,
etc.
go ahead and let the listeners and viewers know what's on the flagpole today. We have got our usual overrated and underrated flags as picked by Frédéric. We may have time to go over those U.S. flag elections we teased in the intro, which are probably the best elections that we've had recently. We'll touch on the flag that he designed for my wife and me and its use at our wedding. And we'll spend most of our time talking about Frédéric's redesigns. But first, before we get into any of that good stuff, Frédéric, what is one of your favorite flags?
So my favorite, one of my favorite flag I've chosen for today is the flag of Greenland.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of in the wind, both
Yeah,
literally and metaphorically these days. I don't know when this will air, or if some like sort of nation will have switched allegiance by the time of airing. But let's talk about the flag just for the sake of talking about the flag. It's one of my favorites. Last episode, I think I brought out Cuba. So that's like one of maybe my favorite, or maybe like in my top 3. And another one in my top 3. I'll say Greenland, just because I like simple flags. Not like they don't have to be oversimplified, but I like if they have a clear color scheme, which it does. Although red and white, it's sort of not cliche, but it's used. But I like that it has like white on top, which makes like white the primary color.
Yeah,
and I also like that and I like that it has it works in black and white. It has this sort of what do we say? I call it texture, which means it's not just a triband, or you can tell what it is in black and white. You could put the flag of Greenland and play around with it, make it the green instead of red, and you'd still see, this is just Greenland modified. So that's a cool flag I like. Maybe if they become independent, it will become green, just to distance themselves from Denmark. They'll put
their flag is relatively. Their flag's like relatively new in the grand scheme of things, isn't it? From like the 70s or something.
That's what I had in mind. I should have looked up before. Who does that? I think it was some artist. I made a flag calendar entry about it like really long time ago. I can look it up. But I think it was from the 70s.
Somewhere in there.
Some artists made it and worked. I think it's really cool. I also think you're not probably like following the European football or soccer, if you want, the nations tournaments, but like they have this when they play like European games, they sort of have this they made this sort of logo things for the teams, where they have like a bicolor with a divided circle inside in the flag color, in the color scheme of the flag. If you have Denmark or Austria or playing, it's just a flag of Greenland, which is quite fun. But Greenland don't play, so nobody's confused other than flag enthusiasts.
Yeah, I didn't figure, and although I guess they would play in the European ones if they did, but I was gonna say, this just arrived like 2 days ago, but
there we
go. For the viewers, I'm holding up a Greenland flag. I also really like the fact that the circle is like offset toward the hoist.
Yeah, it makes it sort of Nordic, if you can say it's Nordic. But
I think so. Kind of ties that in anyway.
Yeah, I have a what do you call it? A mnemonic, like a remembering rule to remember. Which is on top? Is it white or is it red?
Yeah.
Like, and if you ever want to draw the flag of Greenland, well, my mnemonic is, it's not a mnemonic, it's just a rule to remember. I think of the flag of Poland, because in Norwegian, Poland is Polen, and Polen also means the pole. So if I think of the North Pole, I think, okay, North Pole, Greenland, So that means
Okay.
white is on top. But then you have to remember that Poland white is on top. I don't have a rule for that other than I had a Norwegian Polish colleague once who said his grandmother taught him that the blood always flows towards the ground. Hence, the red is on the bottom.
Okay.
And red, and I know that he's Polish, so okay, that's red on the bottom. But then if you don't know any Polish people, only know Indonesians or Monegasques, then the rule doesn't
Nice.
work.
Yeah.
So,
I usually forget. What?
Oh, just favorite flag. That's my favorite flag.
Sorry. Yeah.
Or one of them.
Yeah, no. I like it as well. I think the way that I remember the white is on top is I think of it as like snow. And like, I don't know, like maybe the red is the land, the white is the snow on top of it or something.
Yeah, but you could just as easily remember, it's the sunset, above the sheet of ice.
Yeah, actually that too.
Oh no. It's yeah. I don't remember.
You just have to remember
South Korea. I've lived there for a year and I still cannot remember which is on top in the yin and yang. Is it red or is it blue? I can't remember.
Oh Lord, my gut says red, but I have no idea.
Yeah, is it sky and sea? Like sky, red sky and blue sea, or is it like blue sky and red land? I don't remember.
These are questions best left to somebody else. Anyway, so yeah. And for the listeners, if you don't know what the Greenland flag looks like, it's pretty much as we described, with a circle, as I said, off toward the hoist that is counterchanged. So the red of the circles on top, the white's on bottom. I keep like looking at it just off camera over here, but yeah, you can go to flagsforgood.com and get your own Greenland flag and use flag for content at checkout. That is where I got.
Do you think, like, just let's play the game? If Greenland were to switch allegiance, like either become independent or become American, is more fun to think. Like, will their flag change? Will they like put a white star in the blue circle instead of a red and white circle? I've seen some like online on Reddit. Or is that too cheesy? Is it?
Or they
feels very Captain America, but it's cool.
Yeah. Well, there was already like some dumbass like senator from Georgia or representative was like, we're gonna take Greenland and then we're gonna start calling it Red, White, and Blue Land.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God! First the Gulf of America, and now we're gonna pretend with this shit. I don't know. I could see them doing something like with California's, where they put like a star, or like Nunavut in Canada, where there's like just a star like in Canton or something. I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather not.
They should put a blue and white star in the circle. Just because it works, but it sort of goes to tell you that, okay, you have this base for a flag, and then you want to make some change, and it still works. And that means that your base flag design is good, even though it's sort of a crazy thing to think it like in reality, but well, you can play with it. If they want to do like a Make Greenland American campaign, like they have the logo or the banners right there,
Yeah.
Which proves of good flag design.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, there's so many more things I want to go into, but time limit. I have to keep telling myself that. So yeah, whichever one you want to get into, you're overrated or underrated. Take it away.
All right, I'm gonna start with my underrated one.
Okay.
It's just because I see it get some heat because non-flag lovers say it's boring. Also, some flag lovers say it's boring. But it's so iconic. I want to give a shout out to the tricolor, the flag of France.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait,
as the underrated flag, because it's just so iconic. And I know that I'm contradicting myself, saying I like flags with motifs and texture, but in the case of France and in some like nations, less is more. You just have bleu, blanc, rouge, bam. It's striking, and those are like cliche flag colors. but like France is the main reason why they
Right.
are. It's a cliche, you know, the colors of the revolution. You know, all the Europeans have that because of, you know, inspiring from the French Revolution and the Enlightenment.
Yeah.
Maybe it's also America, but let's ignore that.
Yeah, that happened later.
But you know, yeah, as I said, less is more, and if you are like a big nation, you can pull that off. You know,
Right.
As I think it was the Swedish new vexillology Max who said, you know, there are different rules to flag design for nations and for like cities and municipalities. Then maybe you need more details to distinguish yourself. But if you're a big nation, if you take up a big room, you know, in the country's community, well, you can have a simple flag, you know. Just I don't need more. Everybody knows me.
Yeah.
Less is more. It's kind of like I don't know if you want to go into politics again, but you know, recently with Elon Musk's, you know, sort of power move in the Oval Office, you know, not dressing up.
Yeah,
it's sort of like, I don't care, I'm the boss, and which is kind of a terrible thing, but it's also quite, for us non-Americans, fun.
Yeah, it's not as fun for us, but I'm glad you're having a good time.
Yeah. But you know, I want to say, like, there are many tricolor flags, but like it works for like big nations, and if you see just blue, white, and red, I would argue you think of France. Although there are so many other blue, white, and red flags, you think of France first, if you, especially in that order.
Yeah.
And that's you know, the France, they went pretty far in the flag Euros. They came all the way to the final.
Nice.
And that was votes by, or mostly votes by my followers. So it wasn't just me and my bias, although I did help them through when there were penalty shootouts.
Sure.
When there were draw, I sort of made them win. But
put your thumb on
I think it's underrated. It just gets a lot of heat for being boring tricolors. Like, yeah, but it works, you know. You don't if you don't need the motifs, you don't need them. And if you only have the colors, then adaptability or mixability is really easy, you know. Just put some stripes. We all have some like French branded clothes with just blue, white, and red stripe. At least in Europe, that's quite popular to have blue, white, and red, just some stripes. Oh, it's French. Even though it's not a French brand, they just put it to seem French, and it works, you know.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
let's go. Allez les bleus.
Allez les bleus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you said, and you kind of touched on this too, but like it also like went on to inspire other flags. Like the Italian flag is the one I'm thinking of specifically, comes directly from the French flag, and like those cockades, those like circular things they used to have. But yeah, and so
the more complicated you start out, the easier.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good
start out, the harder it is too. We shouldn't talk in each other's
we're on
mouths.
somewhat of a delay, I think.
Yeah.
I think it gets fixed in post, but you know. In any case, yeah. French flag, absolutely iconic. Like you said, I guess some people, sometimes it does get a little, like, not even heat really, just some kind of like, meh, like it's boring comments or whatever.
Yeah, but you know,
I don't think if in English, like we would say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But it's not broken. Like it goes beyond the oh no, it's okay. You don't put it on your wall like to decorate. You like then you put on something nice, or like the flag of California, because oh yeah, the bear is so cool and mean looking or crazy looking. But you know, then it like becomes a piece of art on your wall. That's not the point of flags. No, you want it to be striking, and striking. If you want to be striking at distance, it needs to be simple. And those three colors, they just work.
Yep,
and they carry a lot of weight. I really like tricolors that are vertical. Although I prefer horizontal stripes, I like the
I saw your
vertical.
comments on the Alan episode.
Yeah, they're very. It's like a sign of establishment. I think. I don't think it's
Yeah.
intentional, but that's how I interpret it.
Yeah. I remember seeing where you said that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. You want to go into overrated?
Overrated. Okay, so overrated flag. Also, people might disagree. I want to say that a really overrated flag is the flag of Albania. You know,
Okay.
red flag with the black two-headed eagle.
Yeah.
Which I understand why people like it, but again, like I said, it's a thing you sort of put on your wall, and it looks cool when you see it in big and it's all stretched out. And my main problem with it is not the eagle being detailed in itself, because it's pretty cool, and you got this two-headed eagle, and you have these Albanian symbols that you can do. I know if you want to show like Albanian nationalism, you put your hands together and your thumbs crossing, and you have like the wings are your fingers, and your thumbs are the two-headed. You can do that. Yeah, you saw this actually Albanian-born Swiss football player, soccer player.
Oh yeah.
Scoring against Serbia.
Yes.
Running towards the Serbian fans and doing like the Albanian eagle just to provoke them. It became a mess in the media later.
I remember seeing
you shouldn't provoke like that, but it gives to show you, okay, the symbol itself is quite iconic. So that works. But my main problem is that it's a black eagle on red, and
that's what I figured.
As I've said many times in this and my previous episodes I've been in, my favorite thing about flags is not flags in themselves, it's how you use the colors and the patterns in other, like in clothes design or in art.
Yeah.
And like the way if you want to keep the Albanian feeling, you need red and you need black. But all right, so my go-to example is, okay, how easy is it to make the soccer jersey, or like a sports wear representing your country? You have a red jersey, you can wear black shorts, cool. But if you want to, like, you need to write the number and your name on the back. If you need to write that in black, it won't be legible. Is that how you say it? Legible? Readable?
Yeah.
Legible. So what you need to do, okay, then you need another better contrast color. So what they usually do is they put white. People, you can edit in just a random Albanian soccer jersey, and you'll see the numbers. If they're black, hard to read. If they're white, easy to read. But then if you introduce the white, then you sort of lose the Albanian feeling.
Right, yeah.
So the problem, it's not even that it's a black eagle. It's just if there were just a little white in the flag, then you might like keep that Albanian effect that you have like red, black, and then white. You sort of get this Amsterdam thing, at the flag of Amsterdam, triband, horizontal triband, red on top, red on bottom, black in the middle, and then 3 white crosses in the black part. And then you still have red and black as the main colors, but you still have the white that you can play around with and like to make those detailed
I get what you mean.
things like writing, just to keep the Albanian feeling, And I think if your flag is only red and black, then whenever you get these sort of detailed adaptations, you sort of lose it. So I think it's overrated. Also, having a black detailed thing on red is not great at a distance. If you want to write the Albanian flag emoji, you have to squint a little to see. Oh yeah, it's the thing. It looks cool and big, and it doesn't really work at a distance or in miniature. So I think the flag of Albania, although the eagle is pretty cool and lots of people love it, I think it's overrated.
Yeah.
Also,
I agree with you.
It lost in the flag Euros. It was the worst flag.
Oh really?
Okay, yeah. I can talk quickly about the flag Euros.
Okay.
Like what the thing was for this football soccer European tournament last summer, 2024. For each day there was a game in the group stages, I had the votes
Mhm.
on my Instagram. Which flag do you prefer? Do you prefer Germany or Scotland? They played against each other. And then boop boop boop, they get points. Like the winners get 3 points. If the votes was closer than 55 to 45%, I said it was a draw. Just because
Okay,
I like draws, just to make it fun. Like
sure. Plus, it makes
it's
it more
close
like
enough.
football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for the knockout stages, it was just okay. We just continue playing the tournament as if those were the results of the actual football games.
Yeah.
And so Georgia went on to win, which is pretty cool. Maybe I should have said Georgia as my favorite flag, as it would have been
hey,
nice.
At this rate, you'll be on in another 19 episodes or something. So
yeah, another 19.
Just
yeah,
save it for that one.
They won against France, but France they won their semifinal against, I think it was Denmark. It also was a tie in the vote, so I had like sort of I had penalty shootouts where like each penalty was a like flag design principle. Like, does it have striking colors? Does it look good waving? Does it work in black and white?
Mm-hmm.
And I said that France has good iconic colors, blue, white, and red, because they are the tricolor, le tricolore. And Denmark, although being like the original, oldest, still used flag, I said, yeah, but still not. They're small, so they're not iconic enough to like be the red and white country. So that's like the penalty they lost on. And well, Denmark, they won their quarterfinals against Switzerland, I think. And Switzerland won against, I don't remember who. And then that country that lost against Switzerland, the worst flag in their group was Albania. Although that was the group of death. I think it was, they had Spain and Italy and some other country I don't remember, but yeah. And Croatia.
And was it?
Yeah.
Was it the flags
I also think
themselves?
Croatia is overrated.
Fair. Although I do really like their soccer kits.
Well,
if we'll
talk about Croatia later, because I did.
Okay.
I've done a redesign about that.
Perfect. All right, cool. Probably best to go ahead and get into the ad break then, so that we can talk about that. But join us on the other side of these ads. We are going to go over all of Frédéric's redesign. Well, maybe not all of them, but we will be talking all about Frédéric's redesigns. And he's got a show to put on for us. So don't miss that. Yeah, if you're a viewer anyway. But anyway, don't miss that. We will be right back. All right, and we are back with Frédéric Lindboe. And as promised, we are going to talk mostly here about his redesigns, of which there are plenty. First off, Frédéric, where can we find these redesigns if the viewers want to go hunt these down?
Well, I work almost primarily on Instagram. So Instagram at Flagmannen with 2 G's and 2 N's. And just scroll down, or there's a hashtag Flagmannen Redesigner, which means the Flagman Redesigns.
Yeah.
You can see all my redesigns in one hashtag. And I'm the only one who uses that hashtag. So there are only my redesigns so far.
Yeah, I like your formatting on this too.
It works to have it on Norwegian because then, other people won't. Maybe there's some other flag guy from wherever also redesigning flags.
Okay, so I've got them pulled up to the side of my screen now. I'm looking over these. And speaking of Norwegian, I can figure out what redesign it means. And I'm sure I'm pronouncing it terribly. What is the Luke at the bottom? Like Luke, Luca, or what is that?
Yeah. All right. So like for the ones you're talking about, like most of the redesigns I've put online are for the I had this advent calendar thing, each day in December until 24th until Christmas.
Right,
I put out a new redesign. And it's Luke. It means a hatch or like a window. Imagine a like chocolate advent calendar. And you open it, That's the first
Yeah.
luke, or the first hatch
Little-
or window or whatever you would call it in English.
Okay, yeah.
So that's how we call it: luke 1, luke 2, luke 3.
Gotcha.
Even if it's like a TV show, luke 1. Even maybe in the intro, like 90s animations intro, they would have an actual like hatch opening and for the intro with a big one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I can think of a
So
couple shows that used
that's
to
what
watch
it
them.
is. So
Okay,
if it's
gotcha.
Luke 12, 12th of December. That's what
Okay,
it means.
gotcha. Yeah, I was just confused on that because I was like,
It's not
I'll just
Bible verses. That's not.
I'll just ask him. Yeah, that's what it looks like to my American eyes, though. Luke 12.
It's fun though.
Luke 20 tells
Makes
us that Turkmenistan.
I've
could be
designed
doing
flags
better.
with Christian crosses in them and Christians or like Christian origin symbols, 2 of which are behind your head right now.
Right. This Forest Fins flag that's in my background. And actually, since you mentioned that, this is a little off script here, but I did want to thank you on air and publicly for sending me Frédéric for my birthday last year in 2024, whatever year that was. Sent me this gorgeous Forest Fins flag that's been like, the colors on this one are a lot better than on that one, I will say. And this cool, like,
those are the updated colors.
Yeah, updated colors. Norway flag as well. I don't have too many like sewn, stitched flags, so I loved that one.
Well, they produce them en masse here, or probably in China, but they buy them en masse here.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a brief aside. Let's get into the redesigns.
Yeah.
Let me just. Yeah. Do you want to pick a few to go over? Or you want me to?
All right. I want you look at the redesigns and say which ones do you think are interesting, or which one do you think are good or bad. We can also talk about. I have some statistics onto which flags redesigns people like and dislike the most. Because for this advent calendar, I had a vote. Do you prefer the actual flag or my redesign? Based on your seeing it right now, and you're probably don't spending more than 30 seconds on this Instagram post.
Yeah. So yeah,
so you tell me which one do you like or dislike or want to talk about.
I would love to talk about the Netherlands one, actually.
All right.
Because I think it's one of a lot of the other ones you can see the influence of the old flag, like Lithuania, especially the U.S. one.
Yeah.
The Netherlands one, if you don't know that orange is, one of their main colors, you might be a little confused by, since it's not on the original flag. So I think it's interesting what you did with that. How'd you come upon, or
So, as you said, most of the redesigns are okay. I chose a bunch of countries to whose flags I thought had weren't the best, or like they could be improved. And I said, and most of them, okay, whatever is on the flag, let's just rearrange it better. As in Ted K's in every bad flag, there's a good flag waiting to come out. That was the most of it, and I didn't spend too much time on rethinking that. But yeah, for the Dutch flag, well, it's super strange. That's the Dutch whose main color are orange. That's how they brand themselves, that there's no orange in the flag. And you have that story with, it used to be orange, white, and blue, the triband, from the top, orange, white, and blue, and then it faded into red. I read somewhere that that's a myth. That's not true.
That doesn't seem true. Wouldn't red fade into orange, not the other way around?
I don't know, but I've repeated it quite a lot that the Dutch flag used to be orange, because that's where it comes from. The royal family, the Orange Nassau family dynasty comes from Orange. In Orange, it's a small town in France. But so that's why they are orange, and the flag has been orange at some point. But I think it's weird. But now the orange, white, and blue tricolor has been claimed by neo-Nazis since after World War II. So you can't really go back. It's called the Prinsen flag.
Yeah.
So for this redesign, I just wanted it has to be orange. So I just how do we put like orange as the main color, and also quite like the dark blue of the of the Dutch flag, because that's how you distinguish it from Luxembourg. Okay, so
Mhm.
dark blue is also a Dutch color. Yeah, it was just so my redesign for the viewers, no, for the listeners. It's imagine the flag of Spain, like
Oh,
red
proportion
on top
wise,
and bottom, and then mainly
yeah.
yellow. And then just instead of yellow in the middle, orange. Instead of red on top and bottom, dark blue. And then I just put some thin white lines because of that Albania argument that
Yeah.
if you want to do some adaptations of the flag, you need the white contrast color just as a backup. So there's no real symbolism to it. Just I thought that it looked Dutch and it would work.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how it came to be. I also thought it was a little fun to like base it on the Spanish flag because
Spanish Netherlands.
well,
Although that was yeah.
Well, did you know that the Netherlands used to be a Spanish colony of some sort?
Yeah.
Which is really weird as a colonizing nation itself. Or there was some sort of union, and also in the Dutch national anthem, like in the first verse, the last line of the first verse is something like, "And I, the Willem of Nassau, like the OG
Mhm.
Dutch king, will
Mhm.
always be a friend to the Spanish king." Like in the Dutch national anthem, there's some allegiance pledging to the
Weird.
Spanish king, which is quite weird. I thought it was
That is
fun
bizarre.
to
I
like
did not.
have a Spanish motif just as a little sprinkle of irony.
Yeah. Okay. That is really funny. I had
If it were
no
to become
idea.
the national flag, that would be a little weird, but yeah.
Yeah, they look really cool next to each other. I would love to see like a graphic of them both flying side by side or something.
Yeah.
I think my favorite. Well, it's hard to pick a favorite. My favorite of yours, I think, is Saudi Arabia, which you didn't have to do too much on because, as you said, and as Ted says, the bones are already there. I'll briefly explain this one for the listeners, but basically he's taken the current Saudi flag, like colors and everything. So it's mostly a green field, but instead of the Shahada, there are two crossed swords in the middle in white that are, I don't remember the exact. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the viewers can see it on screen now. Perfect.
I put it on screen, yeah. So two sort of Arab-looking swords in cross on green.
Yeah, and it's perfect. Like, and it's also unmistakably Saudi, which I think is another thing. Like, you could kind of just slot this one in, and it doesn't have the Shahada, but
this. Yeah, well, that's the point. It's a really strange thing about the Saudi flag that you have this sort of sacred thing. What do you call it? Shahada?
Shahada, I think, is what it is. Because you can't.
I think it says God is great in like Arab calligraphy.
But it's
the thing is, like, that makes the flag sacred. So, you're not allowed to do much with the Saudi flag. I remember there was a story for I think it was the Football World Cup 2002. They wanted,
this is what I was thinking of.
When Saudi participated, they wanted to put all the flags of the participating countries on the ball as look at all this friendship, and the Saudis said no because they didn't want anyone to kick their flag. So I was like, I know you're not supposed to, but it's sort of a cool symbol. But no, it was really sacred. You're not allowed to do it. So and when my favorite thing about flags being how to remix them, how to use them, how to like show belonging and togetherness with those symbols. Super strange that you have this sacred thing. So for this idea, this crossing of sabers, Arab Star Wars thing, that's it's not like original idea I find on the Royal Coat of Arms, which is just have these two swords and a palm tree above it, so you can see it on the passport. You can see it on, if you happen to go next to the Saudi embassy, you'll see it probably on the gates. And I thought, okay, that's a cool thing. It's simple enough that it works, and also, it has this little edge of coolness, so that people who love the Albanian flag also might like this.
Oh yeah, that's the same people would love this. Crossed swords.
So this, it's two swords. They're simple. It works. It has this little curves that makes it interesting. So it's that's how that came to be.
Let's see. I did want to go into, actually we'll get into that one later. Walk me through Slovenia. This is not one of my favorites, I won't lie.
It's not one of your favorites. Okay, yeah. So Slovenia, I can put it on screen for the viewers.
Yes. And describe it for the listeners if you don't mind.
Yeah. Well, first let's just put what is the actual Slovenian flag, because why I don't like it. So the flag of Slovenia is essentially the flag of Russia with a small coat of arms. So tricolor from the top, white, blue, red, and then it has a coat of arms with three mountain tops, some stars, and some wave stripes for rivers below. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing unique about that about the Slovenian flag, because it's already the flag of Russia, and it's really looks like the flag of Slovakia, who they also share the name with.
Yeah.
So that's a bit strange. This is one of the flags that were like that. The redesign was quite a change from. It's not just rearranging the color patterns in a better way. So it's mostly inspired by, how do the Slovenians distinguish themselves? I always go to sports because those are nations and they're branding themselves. And in sports, they don't use the white, blue, and red. They use white, blue, and green. Why they use the green, I'm not sure. It might have something to do with the capital. Ljubljana has their colors is a bicolor of white and green and a small coat of arms, but like white and green. So maybe it comes from there. But at least whenever Slovenians want to brand themselves, they have white, blue, and green mostly. And they also have like the sort of peaks, 3 peaks from this
the middle one being higher than the other two.
Yes, that's what they adapt. So what I was thinking here is, okay, instead of using a flag I like and adapting it into a cool, football, or in my example here, a hockey jersey, I look at the jerseys and I try to reimagine. Oh, if this were adapted from a cool flag, what would that flag look like?
Right, makes sense.
Yeah, So that's how I work mostly.
Yeah, so kind of like take that and like work backwards from that. Okay.
Yeah. Then I don't make up the symbolism here because, well, it's already there and it's already established. I would say, as maybe an unpopular view, but I think symbolism in flag is overrated. Yes, I can see in your face that you're.
I don't have time to unpack that right now.
Well, I can unpack it. Okay, it's not overrated, but like symbolism is important in the selling of the flag. Oh, I can explain the symbolism to the flag to make you like it. But once you like it, the flag itself becomes a symbol of what it's supposed to represent. So you don't care. Like, what does the Norwegian flag represent? Like, yes, Christianity, maybe somewhat allegiance to Denmark, is blue for Sweden because that's when the Blue Cross came, when there was a union with Sweden. Okay, no, but who cares? Now that represent Norway and we love it. And I don't really care what the flag represents or what the actual symbolism, because I like it so much.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's why symbolism is sort of overrated. It's the importance of the symbolism fades with time, I think. And then because then you can reinterpret it and just people like it just because it is adaptable and cool.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. I mean, even so far as like my personal flag that you helped us design, that you basically designed for us. Same thing, like I've explained, especially when I was up at NAVA in St. Paul, I explained it to so many people and they were like, oh, that's so cool. That's so unique, especially the 42 thing, etc. But like honestly, yeah, at this point I'm just like, yeah, that's my flag. I'm not thinking about like, okay, this is what the hex represents and this is what the colors represent. I'm just like, hell yeah, that's my flag. Like,
Yeah.
I know what it represents, but that kind of fades into the background of like why I like it or why it's important to me, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to the Slovenian flag. Like, okay, I don't know if it's told to the listeners what it actually looks like, but so imagine a white flag, a white field, and then in the bottom there's this dark blue, the three peaks that you recognize from the coat of arms in dark blue, and above it is like a white line, just as a sort of a border on top, or like snow on the mountaintops if you want, and then the same line in green on top. And I'm not going to say that this is my best work, but I try to imagine, okay, how can you like go all in with what is unique with the today's Slovenian flag, which is the coat of arms, and make it into and make it into just the flag. So, and I want white, I want blue, I want green. Maybe this is not the best way to do it. Maybe you need to put. I had one person comment in my Instagram post that, oh, I like it. However, if you want to like really capture the Slovenian feeling, you need to have the green against the blue. So because that's like, okay, it wasn't like that in the hockey jersey. I
was gonna say I'm looking at that now. From. Yeah, I mean it is on the football jersey, but
it is on the football. It isn't, but you know, maybe you need that. So it's not great when I like simulated it hanging from a distance. The green didn't really pop as much as I hoped. Or you know, like the example I'm showing on screen now is just basically. Yes,
is that Lake
all the backgrounds are from the actual countries. I spent too much time figuring out how to how to do that.
Fans of this show will be fans of that. So
yeah. We can do it. If we go back to the Dutch flag, there was a tulip background.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice.
For Saudi Arabia, there is just some big bottle opener skyscraper.
Oh whoa! Oh yeah. I've seen that.
I don't know where that is. I just found it. I do not have permission to use those images. I don't make money on this, so I'll say it's fair use.
Yeah, who cares? All right,
but yeah, for this lake bled, you can see I tried to put like to show what I dislike about the Slovenian flag. Oh, if you put it this way, you don't see the coat of arms. It looks like the flag of Russia.
Right.
If I put my redesign in the same direction, it looks like a white and blue bicolor. You can't see the green. I don't know if it will work so well. I thought it was hard to like make the three peaks into a elongated flag work, and also have blue and green. I played around with it quite a lot, and I just had to call it a day at some point.
Because it is worth mentioning that you have kept like the original proportions for all these. So like I'm looking at Croatia, and here we've got Slovenia, and those are both like longer flags than say if you were
Croatia
redesigning.
Was actually slightly altered just to make it work with the checkers, but mostly I tried to keep the proportions, because if I don't need to change them, I won't.
Right. Okay.
But so you can talk about the flag of Croatia as well if you want.
Well, I was
which is one of my favorite redesigns. That's why I kept it for the Christmas Eve, the 24th, because this is the one I'm most satisfied with. And also, I sort of semi-stole it from a post on Reddit many years ago, but or it was strongly inspired.
So for listeners,
let's just say the flag of Croatia. All right, it's a pan-Slavic color scheme, just like Slovenia, like red, white, and blue. In that order, from the top to the bottom, and it has a coat of arms, like the iconic coat of arms, with the red and white checkers, which is the unique thing. And And my redesign is basically almost the same, just instead of the white stripe in the middle, I replaced that white stripe with a slightly thicker stripe and all checkers.
Mhm.
And that is to keep Pan-Slavic colors. There is some symbolism here, but to go all in with the most iconic part of the Croatian flag. And you can see that. You said earlier, I like the football jerseys of Croatia. Yes, because they adapt the most unique thing.
Right.
And I find it so strange that, okay, if this is the adaptation, I would imagine that the flag should have mostly red and white checkers.
Yeah, I mean, it's that
But
same.
it doesn't. So it's like
same idea
it's weird.
of working backwards like you did. Like if you didn't know what the Croatian flag was in the first place, but you saw the jerseys and everything, you would probably imagine the flag looks about like this. And this is one of my favorites of yours. Worth mentioning too that you could probably actually play on this one. It wouldn't be checkers, because it's like kind of like a little too long for that, but you could play a game on this one. I don't know. You wouldn't.
Some sort of strange. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, it's less offensive than kicking a religious symbol. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here we are in Game of Thrones.
Put them in. Yes. So that's sort of nobody noticed on the Instagram or nobody commented it. But this I thought it was fun to put a little Easter egg for the Christmas Eve's post.
Yeah.
Which was I put Game of Thrones. I put like King's Landing because that was from season 2-1 recorded in or shot in Dubrovnik, Croatia. So let's just put as a sort of a finale for the last post, the little thing. Nobody commented on it, but maybe someone noticed.
Oh,
and
first thing I saw.
But yeah, it's the first thing. Okay, great. But here you can say you can see what I try to do with the flag. Okay, I want the checkers to be visible, like no matter what, how the flag is hanging.
Oh yeah,
and I tried to hide the checkers as much as I could, but it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
The flag could be all checkers. It would still work, but I wanted to keep the Pan-Slavic thing. And although the colors are not unique, but you have the checkers, and that motif is what was the word I used earlier for not motif, but the patterns, texture. Like it works, it's checkers. No nation flags use that.
No,
only the racing Finnish flag uses it.
Yeah. All right.
So I quite like that.
I wish we had time to get into all of these, but viewers and listeners should go check out the hashtag Flagmannen Redesign it. I'll have it up on screen and in the show notes.
Put it up on screen.
Wanted to go.
Are you interested in the weird, the occult, or the anomalous?
How does a comedic and supernatural spin on history sound?
We're popping up here to tell you about our podcast, Supernatural Selection, a weekly dive into all things weird with professional amateurs.
We research and uncover fascinating things about our often spooky and strange history and share them with you a couple of hours at a time.
Like, did you know that in 1955, a farmhouse in Kentucky was besieged for a night by extraterrestrial goblins?
Or that the Mothman is still being cited to this very day?
And that the craziest thing published online very well may be Time Cube?
If you want more than deep dives into strange topics, we also have our Weekend Weird episodes.
All the weirdest and buck-wild news we can find on the web delivered hot to you.
Plus, as a bonus, we have a weekly dive into pop culture with our other show, The Distraction Hole.
Because, well, you shouldn't work all the time.
So, if you want to give the show a try, hit up supernatpod.rocks and add the show to your favorite podcatcher or stream right on site. 2 great shows, 1 feed.
Join us, won't you?
Or you'll be sorry.
Remember, that is supernatpod.rocks for an immature audience. Don't let your mom know we're doing this.
I wanted to talk about because you have a bunch of like stats for this, which I think are really interesting
Yeah.
to get into as well.
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah, let's get into that if you've got like those
let's-
somewhat handy.
I got them here. So as I said, for my redesign advent calendar, for each post there was a vote. Do you prefer the actual flag or do you prefer the redesign? And you just voted, and I got like 75 votes per day, and on
Pretty
average. Good. And I thought it was interesting to see, which redesigns did the best.
Yeah.
So let's see. So now on screen, hopefully you will see on the left just the stats, and on the right just my presentations from how I made the redesigns.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be fun to see like which flags did the people like the most and dislike the most.
Yeah.
And also what I can just tell from the stats is if I order them by which flags got the most votes, like which redesign post got the most votes in total, you'll see that the more people disliked the flag, the more they voted. Which is quite fun.
Albanians are very passionate. Well,
yes.
And
so
those who like
let's do this. The flag that got the most like percent-wise dislikes, or like people prefer the original, was my redesign of Albania, which I think is overrated. I will show it on screen here. It's my attempt. I'm not going to say it's great, but I tried to fix what I disliked about it.
Yeah.
And so I changed the Albanian eagle. I made it white just so it would be like easier to spot at a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved the eagle towards the hoist, and I made like the fly black, just like in the flag of Tennessee. The right part is not in the background.
Big fan.
I just like inspired from that. Let's do that. And what I wanted to do was to try to keep the black, the red against black, feeling. So you can have like red and black, mean Albanian colors, but introduce the white so that it would be more visible at a distance.
And I also like
work better hanging.
The proportions that you gave it to, like the white eagle basically sits in like what's a square now, it looks like, and then the black takes up like what's left of that.
Yeah, because like if you have a charge, I don't like too much when charges don't like use whatever the background is. Like in the flag, in the Canadian flag, the maple leaf is within the square, because it's outlined, or as if you draw some rectangular Canadian edges around it, would be mostly square. Yeah. It's also what I tried to do with my redesign of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah, that one is way better. How did that one do?
Yeah.
Okay, yours won 72%
yeah,
to 28.
This one was good. So this one worked quite well.
I don't remember.
Okay, if there is a charge, I want to adapt the background it's actually just to give the charge more room. And also, but whatever dead space you got, you can use that for the other colors. So here's how it looked hanging. And also it like made it look slightly different, more different than just tricolors with charges.
Yeah, I do like that V. Speaking of V's, how did where's Eritrea on this list? Oh, wow. Really? Eritrea was like almost a tie.
All right, so here's my redesign of Eritrea. So
that's
if
crazy.
you want to know
the
flag of Eritrea, I was quite happy with that. So the flag of Eritrea having this like red triangle, like from going from the hoist all the way to the fly, and then the top and bottom in each color. Then you have this olive tree thingy and the charge in the red, just like in the flag of Cuba where the star is. And I thought, this, this charge gets so small when if you want to do like a triangular parted flag, all right, and you want to put a symbol inside, it forcibly is small, and it's also quite detailed. So yeah, I don't. The olive tree, they're cool. The triangles are cool, but they don't work together, I think.
No.
So I wanted just to take those olive branches and use them as a sort of a border in between the triangle colors, just to try to keep both in the 10K. In every bad flag, there's a good flag waiting to come out.
Yeah,
you don't have to do this. I've made some other redesigns where I just made it Canadian style. Okay, I had big red in the middle, and then a big olive tree in the middle, and then left and right stripes are just green and blue.
Yeah,
that would
I
also
do
work,
like
but
that,
it was more boring.
like
I thought
deep,
that was interesting.
that deep like V, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but that extends all the way from the
Extended
hoist to the
chevron.
fly is, I think, pretty iconic to that flag. I mean, insofar as that flag is iconic, which not very, but if there was one feature it's that one. So I do like that you kept it, fimbriated it with something that, I guess like is meant to represent the, like, what do we call that? Like a laurel that's kind of around the olive tree.
Yeah.
I don't remember the
and
English
I
word.
kept 30 branches or 30 leaves of olives because those represent the 30 years of civil war. I think.
Yeah, I figured it was something that there was some numerical significance
so there are
to that.
There are that's how I kept it.
So all right, so Tuvalu is we already talked. Albania is both the one that got the most votes, and the current flag won 82 to 18%. Tuvalu, on the other hand,
let's go from the bottom and work our way up. Just see the bottom and see the top ones. So Albania lost, like, quite clearly, because I think people think the Albanian eagle is cool. And I'm going to say, it's cool, but it's still, I get it from like a hashtag or a regular people point of view.
Yeah,
it's cool. It looks cool on your wall. It doesn't work too well with what I like about flags.
Right.
And I think that what I like about flags, although it's slightly subjective, I've thought about this quite a lot. So my opinion is to be considered. Okay. And then I got the flag of the United States, also quite a lot.
Yeah, I figured you wanted to go over that.
17th. Let's go about that one. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Poof. There it is. So what I dislike about the US flag, I don't think we have to describe it. If you listen to this podcast, you know what it looks like.
Yeah.
If you're a people on Earth, you know what it looks like. It's quite iconic. It's a cool flag. I like it, and it's quite adaptable. You have the stripes, you have the stars. If people want to check out my flag reviews, they can go on #flag review. I've made a review about the American flag, and it really scores high on adaptability. You have it is the star and stripes. The nickname is cool. You can put stars everywhere. You can put stripes. It looks American. You can look at the jersey of the Harlem Globetrotters. Quite cool.
Oh, yeah. Where I thought you were going with that.
And it's in a picture of that. Or you can, on race, NASCAR tracks, you have the runoff areas with some stars and stripes. Looks awesome. You don't even have to have the stars and stripes like in the correct colors. You can put like red and white stars or blue stars and stripes in red, white, or blue. It still feels American. It's quite iconic. The thing Wikipedia, I don't like
you can even make the blue part purple for the longest time.
Oh, really?
They finally fixed it. Yeah, Wiki had like the wrong blue because I guess whoever originally made the image that went up there was looking at like a faded flag. Because if you leave a US one out, the blue will turn towards purple a little, it's still blue, but anyway, they fixed it.
Yeah. So what I don't like about the US, I in general, I don't like cantons. What cantons?
Yeah,
Canton?
I guess I'm seeing that in your redesigns.
Because it's sort of like puts although it's a place of honor, blah blah blah. I know, like in the symbolism, it's important, but I don't. It gets hidden more when the flag is not flying straight.
Right. Yeah.
So I very much prefer to not, instead of a canton, just use the whole hoist as the position of honor. It's just what I did with my redesign of Chile.
Chile. Yeah, I was gonna say
Chile, is that
for those. For those
there it is.
listeners who aren't able to see this right now. Basically,
Yeah.
what he's done with the USA is the difference between like Chile and Texas now.
Yeah.
So if Chile has like the flag or the star in Canton, what he's done with the Chile design, what he's done with the US one is take all those stars and just move them all down to the side like Texas's flag.
Yeah. And
you've also done that with Chile.
There are two reasons for that. I did that with
but...
Chile, and then with Chile I changed the cliche 5-pointed star with a Mapuche star, 8 stars, because I probably it has something to do with the native Chileans. I would imagine. So that would be cool. Now it looks more like the flag of Texas, but Chile is a sovereign state. Texas isn't, so go to bed, Texas. Yeah, and so for the US flag, I put all the stars towards to hoist instead of only the canton. And also because if you were to add Greenland as a state or Canada, and you have a 51 star state, like there's no good way to put arrange those 51 stars in like the sort of square-ish place. It just doesn't work with the numbers. Yeah. So if you have, is there? Maybe there is, but not nice symmetrical. That works nice with the
right. Okay, yeah.
With the rectangular. So what I tried to do, I said, okay, let's add stars. I think it's easier to add the stars on a rectangular background where you have more liberty with the width of it.
And we're all about 51
star. Exactly. So also an argument why I think the US flag shouldn't have it in the canton is because, if you have the stars all the way towards the flagpole, you have more liberty with the width and with the size of the stars. 51 stars.
Right.
My example, it has 5 rows where it's I have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, I imagine 7, just 10, 10, 11, 10, 10.
Exactly. That's good.
Yeah.
10, 10, 11, 10, 10. I think that one looks less bad than it would if you would arrange it in a similar way on the squarish canton.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd have to take more freedom with or make a circular element. But I don't think circles inside squares work. So, yeah.
Yeah,
but people didn't like that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, people were pretty opinionated on that one.
Yeah. Also, American flag, quite iconic. So it's a strange thing to change.
Yeah.
So that what do you think of it, you American guy?
Of the redesign? I mean, I prefer the current flag, I gotta say. But I think a lot of that's just like environmental factors, growing up with it, etc. Anyone who listens to this knows I'm not like the biggest fan of the American flag, so it's not an issue necessarily with that. But I don't know. But I don't mind a canton element as much as you do. So
yeah.
I like it. I mean, it's still undeniably American, or unmistakably American, I guess you would say. If I saw this, I would assume it was like a stylized version of the flag for, like, we keep going back to, like, some kind of sporting event thing. You could turn it like vertically, and it could look like a shield almost. You could do a lot with it, which is I guess to the credit of the current flag, because you could do a lot with it too. I don't know. It's growing on me the more I'm staring at it on my screen, though. I will say that.
Isn't it? Don't you have like lots of like U.S. seals, with the eagle, and you have the shield, and then you have the stars on the whole top.
Yeah. I guess that's why I'm like looking at it that way, kind of.
So I think this vote it got more what do you say? It got more beating than it deserved, I think.
Yeah.
But also, it's an iconic flag, so you don't need to change it. I just thought it was fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the
Right.
clock.
Yeah.
What would you like to get into here?
Let's just continue some. Let's a little thing, and we'll skip family if we don't have time. We can continue quicker.
Okay.
All right. All right. The other worst flags were Uruguay, which I changed into it's the same flag of Uruguay with the white and blue stripes. I just changed the white and dark blue stripes into light blue and black. Why? Because the Uruguay football jerseys are in that color scheme, and I think they look very Uruguayan. And that was, I just reimagined what it would look like. It's not a bad flag. I didn't even change the star in the sun in the canton.
Yeah, I was trying to look closely and see if you had.
No, I didn't. I just thought it was this was fun, but if one flag deserves to be last, I think it's this one, because I put very little thought into it. Other than
this one's just a color.
The
swap.
only thing I know about Uruguay is they're a great football nation, although being 3 million people living there. So you see those the sky blue and black color scheme quite a lot. And I thought, okay, that would make to me, being on a different continent, the flag would look more Uruguayan. So it deservedly got a lot of hate. Also, the flag of Brazil got people didn't like.
I don't understand why people didn't like that one. I think this one is better. This is what the Brazilian flag looks like at a distance anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that's sort of my take. If you can't see it at a distance, and if you draw a cartoon and you would draw the flag, you would skip the stars and the motto.
Yeah,
that's what I removed. It's not even a redesign. It's more of a simplification, the easiest of simplifications. I just put it out because it needed to be said.
Yeah.
People didn't like. They think, oh yeah, but it's cool with the stars, and you have the interesting symbolism with the constellations of what the sky of Rio de Janeiro looked like, mirrored. At the time of signing of Constitution, and it wasn't even right. And okay,
right. They've added stars since then. I think
put that on a coat of arms or on a seal. This just doesn't belong on a flag. But people think, but it's not a bad flag because the rest is so cool, And here the circle and the diamond works.
We love a rhombus.
The flag is great. So we love a rhombus. You don't need to change it. So for it to be iconic, you don't need to change it. Yeah, but it's just the stars and the lettering just don't contribute. So why?
I'm surprised that one.
I also want to say I'm sad that Eswatini got a lot of hate. It got only a third of the votes.
I am surprised by that too, because I think yours is. I like yours better on that one as well.
Yeah. So the flag of Eswatini, if you don't have that in mind, it's imagine again the flag of Spain, but on top and bottom it's blue, and then the middle it's red, and then you have sort of yellow stripes in between those to contrast, and then you have the black and white shield with some spears. And it's cool. It's got this spears or a shield. That's cool. Yes, but it's sort of like putting a coat of arms on your flag. It's you don't need the actual shield. You can just, what's cool about it is that you sort of, it's a shield made from cow skin. That's why it's and used in that culture. So okay, but then you adapt that motif and you put it onto the rectangle part of the flag. I took the shield.
Sorry, I was going to say, go to the image where they're both flying. Because I think this is one of the ones that just the next image, but I think this is one of the ones that shows the difference the most to me. On your next slide there, where that to me is makes a huge difference. I like that infinitely more. I don't hate. I don't hate the original one. It's some. I think Dave from Flag Session. It's one of his favorite flags. I know they talked about it a lot, but
Well, a lot of
Still.
people like, original stuff on flags. Yeah, I think it's overrated because I
This is
want
still
it to be
original.
striking a distance. It's still original, it has, and it has some deep meaning. There's the symbolism is important because, okay, it's the shield that this culture that I don't remember used on their shields. But then I just take the cow skin and put it on the flag, and then you can sort of have this weird thing, because in between the black and yellow parts, no, the black and white part, you have this sort of squiggles because it's sort of the cow skin, and every cow has different spots. So I can imagine, cool thing about the Eswatini flag, the part that or the border between the black and white, it could be different on every flag, just to say, okay, it's from a different cow, blah blah blah.
Oh, that would be cool.
Sort of, that could be a cool thing, It's not standardized. It's not standardized.
Or even like a different,
In this party,
area
I just
or
took
city.
the vector file and I stretch it. It could be different. So yeah, I thought it was a shame that got a lot of it's got a lot of downvotes because people think it's cool with the spear on the flag. It is, but I think the more you think about it, and like what a flag should have, and not only being like a cool poster on your wall, I think you should reconsider my redesign. All right.
Yeah.
Should we talk about some of the top flags?
I think so.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's
jump. I want to talk about, we talked about Chile. We talked about St. Vincent. Montserrat. I was quite pleased with that. Fun thing about the Montserrat redesign, let's just find it. Montserrat redesign, it got 72% of the votes preferred my redesign. And that's not weird because, well, it's just the original flag is just a blue ensign with a weird small coat of arms.
With an Irish lady hugging
what I did for this one, the Irish lady. So the flag is mostly green because, okay, Irish heritage. If you see the football jerseys, again, of Montserrat, they're green. Okay. So let's just use that as the base color. And instead of having the Union Jack in the canton, I imagined, okay, let's just put it all the way towards the hoist so that the rest of the flag is still a rectangular, just a rectangle that you have more space to do more striking things.
You hate
and what canton. I did here, I really hate the canton. I think it's just in the way.
It is very similar to what you did with the U.S. one, as far as like taking that and kind of flipping it vertically and then pushing it toward the hoist. Like you can see the same. Yeah. These are definitely from the same designer, basically.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And so what I imagine is, okay, it would be fun to do all those like colony flags, all the countries with or the nations with non-sovereign nations with a Union Jack in their canton, and reimagine them in this style where you have the Union Jack flipped towards the hoist just to show allegiance, I guess, to the British Empire. It's weird, but still okay. And in colors that are not red, white, and blue, just because you're still your own entity that can have your own color scheme. And then you have the rest, like the rest of the 3/4 of the flag still as a rectangle. You can do whatever you want with it. For this Montserrat, I just put 3 yellow stripes because, I imagine it's the harp from the coat of arms. It's that Irish lady with a harp. So it's the strings of the harp. And you can S3 because past, present, future, whatever, 3 ethnicities. I don't know how many ethnicities there are there, but you can add 4, you can add 5, doesn't matter. And if you were to become independent, you removed like the innermost part of the flag, woof, and you just go all, now we're a green flag with yellow stripes.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine. So people agree with me that my redesign is a lot better. However, I also had I had a look at, what flags, if you wanted to say what was the worst redesign, then, well, Montserrat was voted as the ugliest redesign of mine. Wow. If you just compare, which redesign do you dislike the most? Not compared to the actual flag, but in together they just disliked the Union Jack on the side. I think they thought it looked messy. I don't disagree with them, but
it is funny though that it can overwhelmingly be better than the current one, but still not very well liked in the grand scheme.
Yeah,
that is
so
interesting. And U.S.A. was
interesting.
U.S.A. was the one it beat out, which was another, like as previously mentioned, another one you took the canton and made it, kind of like what you did with the
people
Union.
don't like that, clearly. Okay. And my best redesign, well, Saudi Arabia came to the final, which we liked, and Tuvalu, which we haven't talked about yet. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, that might have to be the last. Well, up to you as far as time, but I want to make sure we get to this one.
That's the last one. People like that the most. 92% thought that was better than the original, which I think it's a good thing because this is a really ugly flag with a canton.
It's also I was going to say,
just some 9 stars.
It's similar to Montserrat's in that like you just said, it's got the Union flag up in Canton, and those two, I think those two just had the easiest opponents. Like their original flags aren't very good, hence 92 to 8%, 72 to 28 for Montserrat. But I mean, weaker opponent means stronger results. Although
but also here, this was it wasn't really a fair game because well, it's an ugly actual flag, and actually for this redesign there was some thought more than just rearranging, as most of the flags in the middle tier and the bottom tier were. So here is just, if you imagine sort of a like the flag of the Seychelles, with the stripes growing from a point, and that point, instead of being like in one of the corners, it's from the middle of the hoist. So there are just as the main color scheme of the actual flag, sky blue and yellow. There are just sky blue and yellow stripes growing from a single point. It looked shelly. It looked sort of exotic or tropical.
Yes,
maybe because of the Seychelles.
And the colors,
and it was cool. The colors, I kept like the actual colors of the the rest of the actual flag, which is sky blue and yellow, and also a quite fun detail. On the actual flag, there are 4 of the flags are faced up, and 5 of them are face down, or the other way around. Let's see.
1, 2, 3, 4 up, 5 down. I guess
4 are up, 5 are down, and so now there are 4 yellow stripes and 5 blue stripes. Just to keep that, I think it's for the number of inhabited islands or islands. I think that's wondering. That's the thought. Or maybe 4 of the inhabited ones are face up inhabited. There are 9 stripes for 9 islands, or 9 stars for 9 islands, and I just kept that in the stripes. I thought it was cool, and it sort of looks original.
On the stars.
No, I saw it on Reddit, not far. When just researching this.
Your redesign, have you ever seen the Soviet Air Force flag? Because your redesign reminds me a lot of that.
So let's.
I think mostly
Soviet
on colors.
Oops, Air Force flag. Oh, nice. Okay. I can see where you get it from. Yeah. Oh, that was a cool thing. But I would, I would redesign this with removing all the Air Force. Right. I know you want wings, but you get that from the the growing stripes from the middle. You don't need.
Your Tuvalu also it also kind of, if you squint, or you don't even really have to squint, it kind of looks like an arrow pointing toward the hoist.
Oh.
At least to me. If
I was wondering maybe I should put it in the other, have the point on the other side, because it's on the far east. I think it's on the east if you or it's west of the date line.
Oh right, okay.
So it's on the east of on the planisphere.
I get why you did it this way, though. I mean but
I think
your way seems more intuitive.
So. Yeah.
All right,
So
cool.
these were my redesigns. I've made some others because usually what I do is, this is my thing on Instagram. I do my flag reviews. I follow this Norwegian geography podcast. When there's an episode about Cuba, I put out a flag review of the flag of Cuba.
Yeah, I remember
And
we talked about that
the
last
next
time.
week. Usually, there are like 2 double episodes. So if I dislike the flag, I would redesign it. So
Mhm.
I haven't done East Timor as a redesign, where I just changed the proportions a bit. I think it looked
Yeah.
better. I've done Slovakia, where I've put the coat of arms. I took the coat of arms and I put it in big.
I really like that one.
I'm quite happy with Guatemala. I thought was cool. Which is
Oh yeah, I hadn't really clicked into that one.
Yeah. Guatemala, yeah, that was quite cool. I just imagined sort of the map. It has the diagonal stripes, and the bottom or left and right triangle are like the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean, and then you have the rainforest stripe for green and the coffee beans in black.
Coffee, okay, and volcanoes, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the last word is.
Southwest.
Oh,
Coffee
okay.
will come
That makes
in the
sense.
southwest. And yeah, so this is the thing. So the idea for this redesign advent calendar actually came as I want to put out all the redesigns I've already done, but I won't be able to put in this following this format because the geography podcast episodes have already been, so there won't be another. So I won't get the chance to redesign Croatia.
Right.
So I put all of them. So there are a few redesigns that I haven't been able to do because they haven't made the Monaco episode yet, for instance. I would like to redesign that.
Oh yeah, Monaco would, yeah. I mean, I just like the lozenge version of their flag.
Exactly. Well, you don't have to go very far. That will just be the lozenges.
Yeah.
So yeah. So all the countries I chose were because there's already been an episode of 198 land.
Right. Yeah, I was wondering how you picked them, so
yeah,
didn't even have to ask.
That's how I picked them. Yeah.
All right, cool. That's all the time we have for this part. We will have one more ad break right now, come back, and we'll have a little bit more with Frédéric, so stick around. All right, and we are back. Final short little part 3 here at the end. More with Frédéric, and yeah, as discussed, I'm going to let you take the lead, but we are talking now about the flag he designed for my wife and I.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to. It doesn't really fit with the theme of the episode of the redesigns, but I thought it'd be interesting since we talked about that last time. Family flags and the process behind making your flag. Now that was before your wedding. And we had all this, I remember saying, I imagined all these things. Oh, how can you use the flag to theme your wedding? I just want to know how that worked out as a little ending of this episode.
It worked out fantastically. So we, I guess first and foremost, we had a color scheme that I think is called dark jewel tones. So it's a bunch of darker greens, darker yellows, purples, black, obviously. Yeah. Katie's dress ended up being black, which I did not know at the time. I wasn't allowed to, but
cool.
I had so I mean, first things first,
describe
viewers
the flag,
can see it, but I had these little stick flag, desk flags made. I think 100 of them or something like that. And near the end, we gave one to everyone that was at the wedding, and we kind of did these photo shoots basically where Katie and I walk down the aisle that everyone has made with their bodies, and they're all just waving these flags around. That was very cool. We got a lot of cool stuff out of that. See what else. Oh yeah, I was talking about the color scheme. So I was not sure up until 3 days before what color tie I was gonna wear. Obviously had my suit and everything else. But as I was looking for ties for my groomsmen, I saw one that is this exact yellow.
Yeah, because
I've
your
put it
flag is yellow, black, and white. That's the color scheme.
yes, yellow, black, and white.
Mainly
Sorry, I
yellow.
forgot about the listeners
Yeah.
for a second. But yeah, yellow, black, and white. Yeah, we're talking more about the use than the symbolism here. But yeah, so I ended up finding a tie. My suit was black. Obviously, my shirt was white. So I had these exact 3 colors that I was wearing.
Yeah.
Katie was wearing black, which is on there.
The black was for her, you know. That was the thought. The black was chosen specifically because she has this goth taste, and so that's just fits.
Yeah, for more gothy tastes, exactly.
You know,
and
this is what I was hoping for. You know, I think I might have suggested in last episode that you could wear a yellow tie.
Yeah, I think you probably did.
If I didn't do it live, I did it like in private.
Off air.
But
yeah, that all works perfectly. And then I was just gonna say, viewers can see it, and listeners will just have to trust me. But back here in my background, I've got like a full 3x5 size flag that Michael from Flags for Good printed for me. And then instead of a guest book, we had like markers on the table, and everybody signed and wrote like a short little message in the white hexagon that's kind of not quite at the center, it's offset, but at the center of the design, I would say, anyway. And that's awesome. So we integrated it a lot of places. A lot of places. And Katie was cool with it. She loved it, especially given the color scheme and everything. So
I saw an image of Tara's haircut.
Yes. Oh God, I meant to mention that, and then usual thing happened where my brain or my mouth just.
Tara Stark is made famous by the Keystone flag.
Yes. Yeah. So Tara Stark, I'm sure she won't mind. I'll put a picture up here for the viewers and probably in the show notes. But yeah, she usually has like the side of her head like kind of, I don't know, buzzed pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, she did this. The element that we were talking about, the hexagon, and then the kind of like 6 rays going out from it as like the side of her head, which was so cool.
Yeah.
I was like a little drunk the first night, and I was telling her how cool it was. And then the next day, that was before like a day before. And then the next day I was like, oh, Tara, that's so cool. She's like, yeah, you told me. I was like, all right.
You should get that compliment twice.
It's still really cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that was touching. That was very cool. So yeah, it did its job in style. It was fun designing it too. Do you mind if I put up some of the old design?
No.
Some of the little like things you did on Snapchat. If you don't want me to, I won't. But
no, go for it. The process is interesting.
The process was very interesting. Like, if we could just briefly touch on that, Frédéric sat down just like this video. I don't know what I was trying to say with that. Basically, we were on cameras and you were in Norway. But he sat down with my wife and I, fiance at the time, and just like banged out a few questions. Like, all right, what are things that are important to you personally? What are things that are important to you guys together? Colors, obviously, like Katie had a kind of high school goth phase, I guess, which is where the black comes from. The white hexagon is one of those questions you asked about what we like to do together, and it's actually what I'm doing immediately after this recording is playing D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. So there's a 20-sided die in that game that if you were to represent it in 2D would look like this hex. Then it's harder because it's vertical, but basically the line, the vertical line that that goes into and out of the hexagon, if you look toward the fly, the 2 diagonals look like a K for Katie.
Yeah.
And if you just take the diagonals on their own, that's a saltire, which is also St. Andrew's cross. So we've got Andrew, we've got Katie, we got the colors. This was a happy little accident, but I was messing around with colors. I told you about this. But I was messing around with colors just as far as like hex codes. And I ended up on one that was FFC42A. So FFC, flagged for content. 42 is like a Hitchhiker's Guide reference. That's the meaning or the answer to life, the universe, and everything, which we'll actually get back into in a sec, briefly. And A, I guess, for Andrew. I don't know. But FFC42A is the yellow. And Yeah, I think other than the 42, that covers it. The 42 is the coolest part to me, but this is also we were talking about like meaning versus like how important is the meaning, at least over time. But this is still something that's very cool to me. The yellow makes up exactly 42% of the flag's surface area. So that is another shout. And a genius masterstroke from Frédéric to do that.
Genius, yeah. Took some math to figure out. But
I
that's
bet.
okay. Yeah, but we can, I think that's a cool thing, or the thing to end on. Just, okay, yeah, so we're talking about the symbolism. We like it, and it's a fun story to tell. However, I think if you just, now that you like your flag, and if you just forgot about the symbolism, I think you would still like it. You know, you wouldn't want to change it. Or if we said, oh, let's make this slightly narrower or wider because of it would make some other symbolism. Like, nah, let's just keep it. I like it the way it is.
Yeah.
But just to justify that it was chosen like that, it was important to have the symbolism. But now it's not as important. It's more like sprinkles on top. It works in its own right. Because, you know, okay, you had the you had the tie colors, or your suit and tie color scheme. It worked. You had the side cut from Tara Stark. Oh, it works. It's adaptable. It's cool. And symbolism is sprinkles.
Yeah,
but you know, it's important to sell it in. Yeah.
No, that
at one episode.
Well, off your one point, or basically to sum all that up too, like I consistently say that this is one of my favorite flags, just full stop. Like favorite, you know, you can include cities, states, countries, all that. This is one of my favorite flags, and the main reason it's one of my favorite flags is because I just love looking at it. I'm not, as we mentioned, thinking about the 42 all the time, thinking about the hex. I just love seeing it fly. I love having, you know, the little versions that I have of it. It's just, I think it's just very visually appealing. So
it's a cool thing. I thank you. I like it as well. It's one of my favorites. Designs in short. Yeah, it looks cool. It has I think it works in black and white, you know. It works as a pattern. Oh, I forget the word again. I like the texture.
Well, I mean, like you said, like Tara Stark's like side cut, like her hair's all the same color, but you know, it works and it's clear,
you know,
what it is.
It gives it edge. And although you're a great guy, you're not as great as you're not that great that you could pull off your own tricolor.
No,
that would be a bit presumptuous.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't be more thrilled with where we ended up on this, but yeah. Thanks.
As a side note, if the viewers didn't notice, that our little name tags in the bottom left are in the flag color, in your family flag colors. That's quite a cool detail, I think.
Yeah. And the little thing that lights up when we speak, they won't be able to see that.
That's yellow as well.
Yeah. They won't see that, but yeah.
Oh, they won't. But they
I've
do.
themed the studio appropriately based on the flag. Like the color, like you said, FFC 42A. All right. Well, I know you've probably got to run, right?
I've got to take care of my child. It's about to.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna put my child to sleep in the in the non-veterinary sense.
I was gonna say, I assume that. Yeah. Assume that's what you meant. All right. Cool.
I don't know. Can you say that in English?
Yeah.
Can you say that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my child to sleep.
Put to sleep. My friend the other day in our Discord said, I'm going to go put his son's name down.
Yeah.
Which he meant like down, parentheses, to sleep. But also like if you put a dog down, it means, you know, like put to sleep.
If you put,
I was like, well, Doug, that seems extreme, but you know, you do whatever you got to do. And he was like, all right,
dog made a dog joke.
Haha, English is ambiguous. Anyway. All right, well, dude, let's get out of here and let you go do that. Do you have any plugs, hashtags, anywhere we should like follow you that even if it's
I
one
have
we've already
my
mentioned.
if my Instagram at Flagmannen. I write all my stuff in Norwegian, but I imagined that there's some illustrations that will make my point come through. If you speak a little English, you can guess a little. I follow there. I have fun. That's the thing. If you ever want your own family flag, or you're in a city committee or something and you want to redesign your own flag, you can come talk to me. I will help you out. I have my dream is to make a sort of a side hustle, being, I can get some commission from helping out.
Oh, okay. Are you
with
requesting money from me right now? Is that what this is?
No, not for you. You're a community guy. That's but I would from others. But I put out an ad after in the plugs of the last episode in Norwegian, so nobody's followed up on that. So maybe I'll do it in English. If you want to hire Frédéric's flag design services, I'll spend more time on it than I did with some of these redesigns. Although your flag it didn't take too much time. Like, once you get the good idea, it comes. You just need to work until you get the good idea. You can put you're going to put out some of the earlier drafts in the show notes.
Yeah, and they'll be able to tell kind of what the process was, because like in the beginning there's like so many hexagons, and then eventually there's a bit fewer, and then we ended up where we ended up. But yeah. All right, cool. Well, go follow Frédéric on his Instagram. Check out the hashtag as well that will be up on screen and in the notes. As far as the show goes, you know where to follow us most likely, but maybe you're a new viewer or listener. You can find all of our handy links over at our link tree, which is just linktree.com/flaggedforcontent, all spelled out. Everything is there, including a link to get in our Discord, which Frédéric is also in. There's a lot of us that chat in there about flags, sports, what have you. And anywhere with an @ we are at flagged4content, for like the number. I think that is pretty much it. Time to close out, but you're not going to believe this. 3rd time in a row I've recorded with you, and I don't have a way to close us out. Is there any help you can give me?
I was hoping that what I just did was the end, so I can read it.
I had to do my own plugs, man.
So, re-listen to the last 3 minutes, and that's my ending.
Perfect. And as always, re-listen to the last 3 minutes. This has been a blast. Thanks, Frédéric. Thanks, viewers. Thanks, listeners. We will catch y'all on the fly.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you in 19 episodes.
Yeah. I'll see you then. Take care. Flag for Content is proud to be sponsored by Flags for Good. Go to flagsforgood.com for more information.